Welcome dear YouTube viewers, thank you for joining. Today we're going to be looking at one of our viewers' contribution. David King has sent this deck back when I was uploading the one-turn mill recipes, and here's his version of a nice milling deck. We have 4 copies of Fog, 1 Jace, 2 pulls of Tomorrow, one of the key of the one-turn mill combo. So this is an instant speed that can draw X cards according to your mana. You have to also discard 1, but the key here is that this is an instant speed spell that can draw as many cards as you can pay for. Then 2 copies of Commencement of Festivity. So the theme between this and Fog is to prevent your opponent from damaging you while you find your pieces. Then 1 copy of Nissa, a very cool planeswalker that is not doesn't look as devastating as other planeswalkers, but is certainly good for any control deck. Then 1 Oath of Jace for helping us scrying our cards. 2 copies of Imprisoned in the Mune, a very strong removal in this deck, probably the best removal from all the cards here. Then 3 copies of Sphinx's Tutelage, one of the key pieces for the milling. Benefaction of Ronas. This card allows us to select a creature and an enchantment from the library, and then we get to place our remaining cards in the graveyard, but I think it should be fine. For 3 mana is pretty decent. Forgotten Creation, the last piece of the one-turn mill combo, because when this creature is in play during our upkeep, we have the option of dropping all our hand into the graveyard and draw as many cards as we do. So the idea here is to combine this with Pull from Tomorrow and the Sphinx's Tutelage to mill the opponent for million cards in the same turn. Then Trial of Knowledge, a powerful enchantment that is going to let us draw more cards. Boundary of the Luxa, providing both draw and mana in alternating turns. Hieroglyphic Illumination, an instant speed to draw 2 cards or else for cycling. Talent of the Telepath, a more defensive spell that can mill the opponent for 7 cards, and we get to cast opponent's spells. So this can include maybe some powerful tool that the opponent has in store for us to use. Battle's Expertise to control those very aggressive decks that are laying out many creatures out there. Then Green Warden of Murasa may be one of the targets of Baral's Expertise, because we get to replay our cards from the graveyard. And finally 2 copies of Spring to Mind to fetch and draw, and 2 copies of Commit to operates like a counter spell, and Memory to refill all the cards from our graveyard back to our library. Then we draw 7 cards. This also operates on the opponent's graveyard and hand, and sometimes might be desirable to do so. Then 8 Island, 5 Forest, 2 Lumbering Falls and 2 Hinterland Harbors, standard dual color in green and blue, and 2 copies of Gaia Ridge Sanitarium. Well, okay, let's try it. And 4 copies of Evolving White. So I haven't played this deck yet, so please join me in the first games from this. I should say that I do not really agree with some of the cards here. For instance, Garage Sanitarium, the activated ability, I believe that it's too expensive for this deck, and also we give the opponent the option to draw and discard a card, so we might be helping the opponent, and it's a legendary card, it's a legendary land, so we cannot have 2 of these in play. Then other thing, there's too many fogs for my taste, and since they are instant, they are not going to be very useful if we get to flip Jace. So I think that this deck could be improved if we change the Fox for some sorceries that Jace can cast when he uses the -3, and probably adding more Planeswalkers for the sake of the Oath of Jace could be interesting. But other than that, it's a very interesting deck, so let's go ahead and see how it performs. Well, the first question that arises here is what kind of hand do we want to be mulligan for? What should we keep? Good question. Our turn. So we play first. We start with the Sphinx, which is great. I think I'm not going to go for the combo. I believe that. Well, I said it back when I was trying to do the one turn mill. If you try to play with just focusing on comboing someone, you're probably going to get your pieces blown up. For instance, in this case, the combo requires us to have the Sphinx and the Forgotten Creation in play during a complete turn, and hope for the opponent to not touch them until we get to play. So I think that it's safer to just play normally, and if the combo happens, then it happens, and well, that should be. So next turn we could play Nissa, but it would be sent immediately to the graveyard, which is not completely desirable to do. So let's just keep up some blue mana for cycling this Hieroglyphic Illumination. I think that this card is okay, I guess. It's not the best draw spell at 4 mana, but the cycling is nice, so we are going to do just that here. We take 1 point of damage if the opponent pays the energy for the turtle. So if the opponent is going with just blue, we could be having issues if he tries to counterspell our Sphinx. So now we have Spring and the Fog. I think that Spring makes more sense because the opponent could have a Sensor spell to prevent us from resolving our Sphinx. So let's do the Spring, which anyways is going to help us getting more mana out. So seems that our opponent did not even try to cast a counterspell, which is a good indication. Next turn we could try to either we try to resolve the Sphinx if the opponent taps down, or try to fish for counterspells with Nissa, or even the trial. Okay, opponent has tapped down, he runs green too. So we are looking forward for very powerful energy cards in green and blue. Opponent, okay, he decides to attack, which is great. So next turn we can play the Sphinx and keep up mana for Fog. I don't think we really need that, but it's nice to have. So Sphinx, let's leave up a blue just to, so the opponent has to think about dropping stuff into a possible sensor. I don't think that it's going to stop the opponent from doing much, but well, here we can start, as long as the Sphinx stays in the board, we can start the milling process with 2 powerful enchantments. I don't think we need to play the Fog just now, and also these 2 enchantments are going to force us to discard something, so it's better to have options. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Well, we could go with Nissa with x equals 3. We get to scry 2 cards. that could help us getting the pieces of our combo, but then we are going to lose Nisa. But I guess we could instead just get her with 2x for 2 counters, so we have the fog available, which looks decent. So let's plus. And well, that's a very interesting thing. The bounty of the Luxa is a bit slow, but benefaction I think we keep. And now we are going to protect Nisa with the fog. If the opponent goes all face, I'm not so sure, but also tempting to keep preventing some damage. We're going to get the benefaction of Ronas next. So, and also Oath of Jace. And since now we have Nisa can help us. So opponent going against our Planeswalker. Let's see if he decides to pay the energy. He does pay? No. For the Rhino. Okay. This Nisa from the opponent is about to flip soon. That is problematic. And he's lost this huge creature. Let's see if he loses something else interesting. Not really. So I think well, if we could scry before, it could be cool, because then we get to use the 0, and the 0 ability is a very powerful one. But I think that we are better off shooting first the Oath of Jace. Oath of Jace gives us, right, Forgotten Creation, which is what we wanted to have. We have to discard something else. Why? Why? Okay. Okay. 3 activations from the Sphinx makes the opponent go from 43 to 35, which is pretty cool. And benefaction. Okay, let's plus Nisa. We are going to lose her anyways, but if we don't plus, then we take more face damage. Neither of those we want to have in our next draw. So now, why not Benefaction of Ronas? Let's do it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. I guess we have the card that well. Now we just want to look for Pull from Tomorrow. It's the one thing that we need. And of course, dropping our Forgotten Creation and not dying while we wait. 14, okay. So now here the opponent could in true have a pump spell that can kill us potentially. We got, well, we're going to have our Green Guardian on the ready. I think that's nice. And there's the Pull from Tomorrow already in the graveyard. So it's all shaping pretty good here. We probably are going to lose Nisa unless the opponent can kill us at this time. So our plan is coming along, but we have to see if we can survive. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we lose. Uh-oh. Wild size. Let's see if the opponent has another one. So it's 8, 11. We go down to 3. Ouch. So if we draw, well, we are going to scry here. Let's see, what is it? Numbering falls, not going to make it. The land is very nice. Iceland, what do we have in here? We have mind. I don't think so. Let's zero Nisa because, well, we are not going to kill the opponent with our land, so let's zero. It was commencement of festivities. So if I use Trial of Knowledge, I get that card in my hand. And we have to drop something. Well, the commit, I think we better keep. These are also nice. Okay, let's ship away the land. Alright, we probably are going to have to use Green Guardian to the fog instead of doing the Forgotten Creation. Maybe the opponent does not attack, because now he knows that we have this. Still, the opponent could be running a counterspell and then we die. So here comes Nisa. Let's see if he already dropped some counterspell in the graveyard. No. Just land, which is good for us, because he is not going to be playing anything cool. So far it looks like just creatures and a little bit of enchantment removal we saw in our Reclamation Sage, but other than that we shouldn't worry here. Well, we have the commit, but it's not going to be enough to save ourselves. So this is just a Fog Sphinx game. Not too exciting, but anyways. Scry, okay, we can maybe keep that one atop. And let's do another 0 from Nisa. Let's see what we get. Pull from tomorrow. Come on! That's not what we needed. So this leaves up. Okay, let's do the Forgotten Creation here. We have a second commencement of festivities. That this combination of this board should give us the victory. Opponent has already 12 cards only in the library. Bristling Hydra is not going to be enough for the opponent. He certainly needs a counterspell, but we haven't seen any counterspell in the graveyard, so I think we should be fine. Alright, all the damage is prevented again, and I mean all the combat damage is prevented, so our Planeswalker and our face does not get any hit. And I think we are going to have a nice first victory. We could even block something, but our blocker is not particularly strong here. Notice that this one also has Skulk, which is pretty funny. that goes on top, which it's going to make us win without doing the one turn mill combo anyways. We have a second Sphinx, which I think I don't need. Okay, that's game. We couldn't put the combo pieces together here since the opponent was going with a large and wide board, but we had the pieces in hand, theoretically, so it was a good first game. Let's see how it goes on our next one. Well, let's see if we get some luck here again. What could be our opponent doing? Maybe he is playing a black and red discard deck. Well, anyways, we are going to aim towards setting up our combo. This hand looks cool, given that we have Jace, but other than Jace, we might be running into problems not having the lands, and Jace could get killed if we don't draw the right lands. So let's Evolving Guides first. Milling this opponent is going to be more interesting since he's running an oversized deck with the Okitra sleeves, so maybe Okitra has already a token deck. Okay, stop this. Fetch. We're going to drop a dual land probably, so drop the island. That doesn't really matter. Trial of Knowledge. Okay. So far, we are not going to be fearing much from the opponent. We have to save our fox for the key points here. I'm guessing the opponent is going to try doing lots of tokens with some form of buffs. Commit is nice to keep. We have nothing to play, so maybe Talent of Telepath is going to be useful later. This time, in this game, we have Lumbering Falls that can operate as a blocker. Okay, so a Dwarf Pilot that can prevent our creatures from blocking, which is not going to matter at all. And we're going to get hit by one. So I guess that this style of deck has the potential to be running lots of removal spells. So we could activate the Lumbering Falls, but is that what we really want to do? We could try cycling this, maybe draw something that we can play, and wait with the Talent of Telepath until we get the mastery. So let's cycle this. Let's see if we get something juicy. Well, not, but is a step further into finding our stuff. And now if the opponent does something really scary, we have one fog that we can shoot off. Westbell Abbey, supporting the tokens theory. And Choo-Choo Flyer with Exert. So I think we better save the fox for when this guy gets the Exert. We take 4. Well, we could have used fog to make sure we have the talent of telepath. Imprisoned in the moon is... that's cool. We have to drop something into the graveyard by playing the trial. I guess it's fine. So what to throw away? I guess one of the commits. The land is very useful, so we don't want to drop the land. And now we have the spell mastery for talent, but despite that, I think we are using fog. Trail of seal, dealing 3 to our face. So we cannot stop this from damaging us, so we better start using our fogs. This guy got exerted, which is cool, so we don't worry about the corrupt elite next turn. There we go. So we can start milling here, but that's not going to help our cause this right now. So I think we better begin with talent of the telepath. Let's see if we can remove something from the board. Magma spray, cool. Confirm. What else? Okay, cuts and embalmings, guys. More exert. More embalmings, and Hinterland Harbor looks okay. So now if the opponent starts using cartouches and trials, we are going to lose to burn spells. Whoa, that's original. Embodiment of Fury, so he can make the lands attack us. So we better get ready to use another fog. Now, we can also bring his lands back to the library. He also is getting closer to activating the Westvale Abbey. Okay, I think that this is time for Imprisoned in the Moon on this. A little bit of Jace that should get killed right away with a burn spell. And we leave up some fog. Continue. So opponent could drop some land and swing for 5 here plus 3. That's 8. And maybe he has some burn, so I think we have to play the fog, whatever the opponent does. This deck also has the appearance of running some Act of Treason. Rogue's Passage on the 4-3. No, just the 1-1. So that's nice. The opponent decided to spend all the mana here, which means that we are saving the fog for later. That could be a bad decision if the opponent can do 6 damage without attacking, but I don't see that holding back the Sphinx is better. So go Sphinx. Back in the graveyard we have Memory. Tapping Jace is going to... yeah, it's going to flip Jace. Let's throw away the forest. So let the milling begin. Gaia reach Sanitarium, plus Jace on the big guy, and continue. So we have a number of options next turn. We can activate Lambert Falls, we can commit a scary spell, we can fog a strong attack. So let's see what is the opponent trying to do. Oh, I think this is a commit. Goodbye, Embodiment of Fury. And the opponent has Devour in Flames in the graveyard, Felidar Cub, which is quite something. Good. And the Forgotten Creation. So maybe we can talent something in the graveyard. I mean, -3 and use the talent of Telepath. So let's see if it provides us with something interesting to do here. But mostly we want to get life gain, but we have to destroy an artifact. Well, I think we cast this one on the opponent. We don't cast the second one because we would have to destroy. Well, maybe I should. What is the Trial of Knowledge good for here? Yeah, I think I should have played the other one. Now, since we got some life, okay, it was a misplay. I agree. I have no excuses. So let's go the Forgotten Creation, which opens a window for the opponent to swing at us. So I was scared that I was going to be forced to get rid of my Sphinx if I played the second Solemn Offering. There are more of these that the opponent might be running. He has a heavy enchantment removal build. And now our Forgotten Creation is no longer able to attack or block, but we can gain life in his things get to it. That's cool. That's pretty sweet. Okay, Forgotten Creation, not yet. Better to keep the fog in hand. Well, actually, we should have done it. We have memory. But do we want to memory? That could give the opponent lots of cards that he can use against us. I think we don't memory. Now, I guess Benefaction of Romance is good. Leave up the... Oh, we tapped... We don't have the green. Right. And, well, Pull from Tomorrow was coming up next. So that's just a pity. So, but double Forgotten Creation looks cool. What the heck? Let's do this. No fogs. The no fog is required now. Opponent drops a reprisal, which is wise. So if we get the Pull of Tomorrow in hand, that would be interesting. So now here, I guess the Glorybringer is going to try to kill the Forgotten Creation. So we activate the sacrifice and get to life. He's leaving up the Jace. Okay, so no exertion. Glorybringer, why do you do that to us? No, we want that. Ah, that's great. But the Glorybringer has haste. All in all, I don't know if this is the right thing to play. From the graveyard. Well, we could eventually use the mind to memory. Yes, mind the Glorybringer with Jace. We lose the Jace. Let's do it. Mind. Yes. No, I mean, no, commit. We want to commit. That's the one thing I was thinking. Where is my commit? Cast discard. Memory. Cast discard. Commit. The Glorybringer. There we go. We are not going to activate Gaia Reach. And talent of the telepath, make sure that the Glorybringer goes to the opponent's graveyard and maybe gives us something cool. Nope, but we take away lots of cards and hopefully we survive. Our life total is dangerously low. Uh-oh. So, Chandra plus 1 is going to kill us. Oh, Chandra. Where is my fog? Why did I drop the fog in the graveyard? Why don't I have this one in the graveyard and providing me more life? Alright, let's try once more and see if we can mill. Okay, so far 1 win, 1 loss. Let's see if we can untie the score with this game. Let's see, so far we have been on the play. Let's see if we get better results on the draw. This hand is tempting, but we get exposed if the opponent goes aggressive. But I'm going to bet that the opponent is not going to be hyper aggressive and keep this hand, which is a huge risk. So if I'm wrong, we lose very fast. If I'm not, then we have Bounty of the Luxa. That's a relief to have drawn into. So opponent going white and black with this. Sleeves and Avatar, probably a Planeswalker's deck. We already are seeing 3 colors. So I guess the milling can defeat the Planeswalkers as long as he doesn't get Nahiri. That should be... Oh, look who showed up. We're being very lucky because we're finding our 2 Sphinxes tutelage very soon. Opponent going to cycle or telling time. End of turn. And he has blue, white. So maybe it's not a Planeswalker's deck, but I don't know. It's quite likely the opponent's going Planeswalkers. Maybe he's not or she's not, and that will be a very interesting thing to see. A very cool original deck. Original as my own deck. Let's get a forest. Well, now 2 double Sphinxes. Let's try to resolve. Opponent can have a counterspell, indeed. Spell Shrivel. Ah, it gets exiled. I was confident that I was going to be able to recover the Sphinx from the graveyard later on, but it will not be the case. So we are against some counterspell deck. So let's Bounty of the Luxa. Eat another counterspell. No, we do not, which is fantastic. And we have now double fog, well, I mean double damage prevention. So maybe you are wondering, why is this costing 2 instead of 1 as the fog? Well, you can kill the opponent creatures using Commencement of Festivity during combat when the fog does not let you do that. So that's the advantage. Now the opponent has tap down, so we are going to resolve the Sphinx right away. Please don't tap the blue mana. And Evolving Wilds, give me more, well, whatever, well, green, just in case. I don't think we are going to use our fog in this game, but we are going to be cycling the, well, do we cycle? If I use barrels, and I can cast the hieroglyphic without paying mana. The only thing is that we don't have an answer for Jace unless we find the imprisoned in the moon. So we better find that card fast or we lose. That being said, maybe... So we are going to be drawing an additional one from the Bounty of the Luxa. Okay, let's hope to find the imprisonment in the moon soon. Opponent is losing land. Oath of Jace. Probably going to ship down these spells. Well, too much lands. Okay. Trial of Knowledge we keep. Commencement. Probably. Well, the opponent maybe is running some Animator deck. So that's a bit scary. We're going to play the Trial of Knowledge. Keep up. Well, we have blue mana in hand, so it doesn't really matter. We have to discard. We have the Forgotten Creation and the Pool from tomorrow and the Sphinx on play. So if we get to resolve all our cards, we could beat the emblem. Well, that's a nasty emblem to beat, so we have to be a bit careful. Lumbering Falls. So the mana from the Bounty of the Luxa is going to be a great help for us, provided the opponent does not counter our Forgotten Creation or kill it. I'm willing to believe that the opponent has 3 or 4 removal spells in his hand to kill our Forgotten Creation. So I don't really think we are going to be able to have this one for long in our deck. But with the aid of the commit, we can save the Forgotten Creation and imprisonment in the moon. What to do? So opponent. Okay, let's. I can try to resolve Forgotten Creation. The opponent gets Jace's emblem. The key here is to use commit to protect the Forgotten Creation. I'm pretty sure the opponent has a removal spell. If he has 2 removal spells, we are not going to be great. Anyways, I don't have enough mana now that I think so. So let's just imprison this guy. Force the opponent to play something. Alright. Well, we might be doing the combo here, guys. Well, our hand is a bit empty. Opponent. You left right in the best moment. So, so Jace, Oath of Jace is about to trigger. Then we should have the trigger from Forgotten Creation. So we're going to spend all our mana in the pool from tomorrow. Pool with X equals 5. That should give us a lot of cards in our hand. No, scattered. And the opponent left with a scatter. Why didn't he play this one back then? Alright, yes. Really amusing. The opponent left with a counterspell in hand. And that disrupted our combo. We could have milled the opponent so strong with the combo with 5 more cards. Yeah, so silly opponent. But anyways, regardless, we get the talent. Planar Outburst, Glimmer of Genius, and Fatal Push. Confirm. We destroy this land with 0 mana cost. And I don't need any of these. Maybe the land? No, I already played the land. Well, the opponent has been milled without the combo shooting off, but I think we can say that we almost did the one-turn mill. Yeah, but I hope you have enjoyed this game, and thank you very much, David King, for providing us with the list, and hopefully we get to see more decks soon. In the meantime, until then, sayonara.